I'm finally getting to fly a Cessna 206 for the first time in my entire life, and not just fly it, but really experience the mission that it was perfectly designed to do. Load it up to the limit, leave the busy Class B, and fly into the backcountry. Derek Moore from Textron Aviation is here to let me demo fly this airplane, and I wanted to bring you along with me, so that way we could both see firsthand why this is one of the most successful airplanes ever made. So let's do this. The 206 has a useful load of over 1,400 pounds, which is over 300 more than the 182. With full fuel of 87 gallons, it can still carry a little over 900 pounds, and the amount of space inside is honestly pretty impressive.
This is huge. You can like crawl in the whole thing and disappear.
So we loaded it up with plenty of gear to get near max gross weight, and then plan on taking it all the way up to 17,000 feet to put the turbocharger to work, and then onto a grass strip. On paper, it's the perfect mission for this airplane, but I wanted to experience it in real life.
Clear, Pratt. Clear.
Beefy. She's nice and throaty in the morning when she's just starting up, when she's cold.
Just drank some whiskey last night. Has a good morning voice.
Love Tower. Stationair 975 Charlie Sierra is holding short of 3-1 right, ready to go IFR.
Number 975 Charlie Sierra, Roger. Got your request. Just waiting on the release from the departure control, but I do have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. 5 Charlie Sierra.
How much is that turbocharger? How much horsepower are you putting out on that Stationair there?
310, 5 Charlie Sierra.
That'll get it done right there.
She's brand new.
That is phenomenal, man. That's a SR22 level right there.
Much better than one of those.
Okay. November 975 Charlie Sierra, runway 31 right, clear for takeoff.
Runway 31 right, clear for takeoff. 975 Charlie Sierra, thanks.
My pleasure.
You'll notice on this takeoff here, you're just going to gradually increase the power. You'll feel that you're going to need a lot of right rudder because she's got lots of power.
Pretty excited.
All right.
Here we go.
Runway 31, we're good.
Man, good thing I wore my boots. Airspeed alive. 40. 50. 55.
All right, now pitch over for that 70.
I'm trying to go manual trim here. Forgot we got some technology. Woo, a lot of right rudder.
Lots of right rudder there. Perfect. All right, look at that. Full fuel, 3 people, bunch of bags, 800 feet per minute.
Can't argue with that.
1,000 feet per minute. There we are.
There we are.
And we just got 10 notches of flaps in, so we're safe altitude. I'm going to pull your flaps up here.
Okay, flaps up.
And now you can pitch for that 90 knots.
Still leave full takeoff power, or is there a climb set?
No limitations. We can do full forward on everything.
Number 5 Charlie Sierra, have a great flight. Can I take reason for it?
Over to departure. Have a good one. Thanks for the help. 5 Charlie Sierra.
My first impression of this airplane is that you can tell you've got a lot of power up front. And it is no joke that you need a lot of right rudder. And even though we were loaded up, the airplane just floated off the runway. It wasn't heavy on the controls either. But still, the best part about these new airplanes, in my opinion, is the G1000 NXI. Now, there are a lot of cool features on this aircraft that we don't even have time to cover. But one of my favorites is that it pairs with your iPad.
All right, so we're clear direct destination. So you can hit flight plan, and then take the big knob, scroll down all the way till we get to Gastons 3 Mike 0, hit direct, enter, activate that. Bam, now we just need to hit nav mode on our GPS.
Okay. And my iPad says new flight plan.
Loaded from panel.
Loaded from panel, so it recognized that.
And it recognizes that.
And it went ahead and updated it.
And it went ahead and it updated on your ForeFlight through the flight stream. Now that we're a direct destination, it shows that on there. Now we're a direct destination. We have 269 miles to go. We're cleared up to 15,000. We're at 11,400 now. So, of course, above 12.5, we would need oxygen, after 30 minutes up there. So we're going to go ahead and get it set up. So we have our cannula mask here. Cannulas are going to be required under 18,000 feet. That's what they're certified up to. Above 18,000 feet, you would need a full face mask. So here's your oxygen panel. You've got your gauge here to see what the level of your oxygen bottle is, your lever for your on and off, and then you have the pilot and the co-pilot ports. So you can go ahead and take your little silver knob. Actually, yours is blue. Yeah, you can go plug it in there. You'll feel a little twist. All right, so now we're going to set our flow meter to make sure that enough oxygen is going through. 17,000 by Charlie Sierra. All right, so now we're going to set our flow meter to make sure that we're all the way on the left side. So on the left side of the flow meter is going to be for your oxygen cannulas. On the right side of the flow meter is going to be if you were using a full face mask. You're going to take the little knob here and move that little blue ball. Make sure it matches 18 on the left side.
And that's basically altitude that you're plugging in there?
That's correct,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so if you were using a full face mask and we were going all the way up to 26,000 feet, which is the ceiling of this airplane, then you would take it all the way up to the top. So as you could tell, based from when we were climbing down at 3,000, we were doing 135, 140 knots. You notice that now we're at 15,000 feet. We're doing a 105 knot climb. We're not even straight level anymore, and we're still doing now we're doing 136 knots true.
So in other words, we were level at 3,000 feet getting 140 knots. Now we're climbing at 16,000 feet, and we're still getting 136 knots.
Doing 600 feet per minute. And fully loaded.
That is truly incredible. So at 17,000 feet here, we're burning 19.2 gallons an hour, truing out at 161 knots.
Yep.
On oxygen.
On oxygen.
You could fly right over the Rockies if you wanted to.
You sure could. Now that we have the engine leaned out, we can zoom out and we'll see our range rings, right? So this dotted line here is, you can customize that in the settings of the G1000. I have it set for it's an hour reserve, right? So at this dotted line, we'll have an hour of fuel remaining. At the solid line, that's a zero fuel line. So that's great for planning. So that's taking into account your ground speed for winds, etc. So you can know once you get into cruise, if the winds change on you, you can have a pretty good idea on whether or not you need to make a alternate plan to stop and get fuel before you head on to your destination. All right, so now we're level 17,000. We've done our cruise checklist. The only checklist item that I like to do that's often forgot by most pilots is SiriusXM Radio.
I thought you were going to say hand out some peanuts or something.
The peanuts are coming, but that's after the music.
That's cool. You can listen to music the whole way.
Yeah.
Satellite radio, tons of stations. Cool.
I'm on an airplane, a couple miles over your head.
We were having a good old time at 17,000 feet, but we were about to have our hands full once we descended into very turbulent conditions approaching our destination.
Yeah, you can tell by the water on the lake that we've got quite a bit of wind.
Yeah, we got white caps.
Our plan was to do a low pass at Gastons and then go land at a nearby airport to switch seats and let Derek take us back into Gastons from the left seat. Taking airplanes into grass strips is probably my favorite thing to do in aviation, so even these practice approaches are always exhilarating.
Cow flaps are coming open for our go-around.
During this approach, I immediately noticed how effective those big flaps are. And you can definitely tell because it's very easy to slow down and you have a huge amount of lift when those things are deployed.
All right, let's maintain this altitude here.
Now, even though this was my first time doing an approach in a 206, honestly, it felt really natural to fly. But the bumps kept things interesting for sure, and they certainly had my attention.
We'll go around. Full power. Cow flaps are open. That is a little sporty.
Little sporty's right.
Let's do a left turn and we'll go over to BPK.
Okay. Hunter, I hate that this is your experience, man. It's normally like pristine and great and gorgeous.
2,000 is
That's okay. No barf bags needed yet, so I'm good.
I'll be honest with you guys, these winds would have been challenging for me even in my own airplane. And during the approach, we were rocking and rolling.
Whoa.
Now let's pause it right there. This face is what I like to tell my wife is the I'm not scared, but it has my attention face. Now back to Charlie trying not to screw up the landing.
You good?
Yeah, we're good.
This landing was really challenging because of the gusty winds, plus the fact that it's a new airplane for me. But the 206, I gotta say, was really responsive even in those high winds, and the landing gear especially was really forgiving.
You had to work for that one.
As we were shutting down, Derek and I looked at each other and said, you know what? We just need to wait this one out on the ground. We do not need to force this. So we grabbed a crew car, we went to lunch at a local restaurant down the road, hung out at the FBO for a little bit, and a few hours later, the winds were a lot more favorable, and so Derek took us on the few-mile trip back into Gastons.
All right, let's see if we can do this. Well, we're not going to see. We
That
can't
was
do it.
very confident.
We can't do it.
Start over.
Now, the flight into Gastons Resort is a gorgeous approach along the White River, and it is one worth enjoying. Now, if you haven't been to Gaston's White River Resort in Arkansas, you should absolutely put it on your list. It's got a 3,200-foot well-kept grass runway, dozens of different cabins right on the river, fishing guides that leave right from the resort that take you to world-class trout fishing, and a fantastic restaurant that sits right on top of the river. And you can even take what you caught on the river that morning and have the restaurant cook it up for you that night. It is the perfect getaway for anglers and pilots alike. And now that we finally made it here, Derek was able to give us the full walk around of the airplane and look at some of its awesome features.
The Cessna 206 Stationair is right at home here at Gastons Resort in Northeast Arkansas. There are so many great features about this airplane that make it perfect for backcountry missions or even big airports. I'm excited to walk you through them. The 206 is equipped with the TIO 540 Lycoming engine. It is fuel injected, turbocharged, and produces 310 horsepower.
Beefy.
The 206 is equipped with a 3-bladed Macaulay propeller. The great thing about the 3-bladed propeller is it gives it plenty of prop clearance for those backcountry strips which the 206 was built for. It also has heated boots on the propeller as well for any high altitude situations where you may encounter ice. The cowling on the 206 is designed for maximum cooling over the engine. You'll notice in the intakes here, you've got an angle to provide maximum airflow over the top of the engine for a high attitude climb. The air goes in around the engine and out the very large cowl flaps on the bottom of the motor. On the left side of the cowling, you have your GPU port or ground power unit adapter. That allows you to plug in power, run your avionics, and if you have the Kelly Aerospace air conditioning, you can run that on the ground via electrical power. You can turn on the AC without getting in the airplane by simply touching this silver button on the left side of the cowling. The 206 has a 36-foot wingspan, which in fact is the same as the 172 and the 182. It can hold 87 gallons of usable fuel, and at a max performance at 20 gallons per hour, that equates to about 3.5 hours of range. The airplane does great on short strips because of the massive flaps on the trailing edge of the wing. You've got 3 more foot of flap than you do on a 182, which does equate to a smaller aileron. However, with these aileron stall fences, you still have great responsiveness on the controls at low air speeds. This airplane is built for versatility. You could put it on floats, equip it with large Tundra tires, and even put a cargo pod on the bottom for extra storage. The airplane has a service ceiling of 26,000 feet, which requires us to need oxygen on board. Conveniently, it's equipped standard from the factory with onboard oxygen in the tail, with an external service port on the side of the airplane so that you don't have to remove the oxygen bottle to refill it. The Kelly Aerospace System air conditioning is also housed in the tail of the airplane. It does weigh 60 pounds. You've got the vent here on the left side of the airplane with another intake vent on the right side of the airplane. With the bigger airplane and the bigger motor, it requires us to have larger control surfaces. You'll notice that the elevator is much larger than a 182. It also has counterweights installed in order to relieve control pressures. The 310 horsepower motor requires us to have a nice big rudder.
Ooh, a lot of right rudder.
We have rudder trim available as well to help offset our foot pressure. The elevator is equipped with a very large trim tab, which is really easy to move via the electric trim or the manual control wheel.
Trying to go manual trim here. Forgot we got some technology.
My favorite feature of the 206 is the large cargo door on the back of the airplane. It was designed to fit a standard size pallet and the height of a 55-gallon drum. So plenty of room to get all of your adventure equipment inside the airplane. The airplane comes standard with 6 seats, with there being an aft bench seat in the 3rd row. We have the aft bench seat removed today, which gets you an extra 40 pounds of baggage, cargo, ski gear, camping equipment, etc. With the cargo doors being so close to the flaps, you don't have to worry about accidentally lowering the flaps onto your door. There's a safety switch right here that if the door is not secure, the flaps will not lower. When you enter the cockpit of the 206, you'll notice how much more space you have. The 206 cabin is 4 inches wider than a 182, giving you plenty of elbow room and plenty of room in the back for extra gear. The Kelly Aerospace air conditioning makes managing the temperature in the cockpit very easy. The control panel is mounted just to the right of the panel. The system is fully electric, and there are 6 air conditioning vents placed through the headliner of the cabin, providing cooling at every seat. Onboard oxygen comes standard on the 206. The control panel is conveniently located between the pilot and the co-pilot seat. You have a gauge to see what the level of oxygen is in your bottle, and you have 6 oxygen ports placed throughout the cabin for all of your passengers. Like all Cessna high wings, the 206 is equipped with the G1000 NXI. You've got 2 screens in the panel. Your primary flight display shows your airspeed indicator, attitude indicator, altitude, vertical speed, as well as your HSI. On the right side, you've got your engine instruments, as well as your moving map, charts, flight plans, etc. As an option from the factory, you can order Garmin Synthetic Vision on your PFD, which paints the entire terrain, as well as the runway, towers, and traffic. The standby instruments on the panel have all been converted to an electronic standby, the Garmin GI275. With that conversion, it eliminates the vacuum pump, taking all 3 of the old analog gauges, converting them to the electronic standby that gives you the attitude indicator, airspeed indicator, your altitude, and the barometers from your PFD are also synced, only having to set it once for an altimeter setting. The lighting switches are conveniently located on the left side of the panel, where you have dimming switches for the panel lights, as well as all of your external light switches. The large cabin of the 206 gives you pockets on your sidewalls, cup holders, as well as a glove box inside the panel. What makes the 206 so popular is the sheer amount of room you have in the cabin. With the pilot and the co-pilot seat in flying position, you have tons of leg room right here in the 2nd row, and that leaves a huge baggage compartment for skis, snowboards, gear, etc. Or you can put your 3rd row bench seat back in the back and carry 2 more passengers. And on top of that, you have this huge cargo door that makes loading people or bags very easy.
I'm putting together a full debrief on what I think about the 206 now that I've gotten to fly it for a few days. And once that is posted, I will put it here on the screen. But in the meantime, there's another video on the screen here that I think you will enjoy too. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in this video.